1 week later, General Vrazik stood in the massive underground chamber beneath Yellowstone National Park. His once proud uniform had been stripped of its medals. His hands were bound with energy restraints. 2 human guards stood behind him, though they seemed relaxed rather than fearful of their alien prisoner. Dr. Olivia Murray and Major Alan Carter faced the defeated general across a simple table. Behind them, the control center for Project Mantle continued to hum with activity as operators monitored the Earth's systems. "Your technology should not be possible," Vrazik said. His voice had lost its mocking tone. "Our scouts observed your civilization for decades. We saw nothing of this." "That was the point," Olivia replied. "After we detected your first probes in the 1950s, we created a 2-track development program. Public technology progressed slowly, while our real advances happened underground." Ellen spread out a series of photographs showing enormous tunnel networks, geothermal energy taps, and hidden manufacturing facilities. "While you watched us build rockets and airplanes, we were building inward and connecting with our planet's core," he explained. "Every nation contributed in secret. It may be the only project in human history that never leaked to the public." Grazix's 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of deep thought in his species. "Why not simply destroy our fleet? You clearly had the power." "Because we don't need to destroy to be strong," Olivia said simply. "Your empire consumes worlds and moves on. We chose a different path. We formed a partnership with our planet." In Ohio, Steve and Lily Dawson stood in their backyard, looking up at the night sky. The alien ships were still visible, but now they were being escorted from Earth's orbit by vessels that had emerged from hidden bases beneath the oceans and polar ice caps. "Will they come back, Dad?" Lily asked. Steve put his arm around his daughter's shoulders. "Not to fight. Maybe someday to talk." Kelly Whitman approached from the side of their newly rebuilt house. After the victory, she had revealed herself as a longtime operative for the Mantle Defense Network. "You two have visitors," she said with a smile. Steve and Lily turned to see Olivia Murray and Alan Carter walking toward them. They had never expected to meet the leaders of Earth's defense. "Mr. Dawson, Miss Dawson," Alan said, offering his hand. "Your actions at Node 12 were crucial. You saved countless lives." Lily beamed with pride. Steve looked embarrassed by the praise. "We just did what anyone would do," he said. "Not everyone would have noticed the aliens' physical limitations or had the courage to use that knowledge." Olivia said, "We're here to offer you both positions with the new Earth Defense Initiative." On the Keldorian homeworld, news of the fleet's defeat spread quickly. The ruling council gathered in emergency session to discuss this unprecedented situation. Never before had they encountered a species that could control its planet's geological forces. General Vrazik reports that the humans could have destroyed our entire fleet, yet chose restraint, said one council member. "A species that weaponizes a planet but chooses mercy is either weak or truly advanced," said another. "We must determine which." In the Yellowstone Command Center, world leaders gathered to determine Earth's path forward. For the first time in human history, all nations had truly worked together. "The Keldorians have requested diplomatic relations," the Secretary General announced. "They wish to establish peaceful contact." Olivia and Alan exchanged looks. This was what they had hoped for: deterrence leading to dialogue, not destruction. "And what of Project Mantle?" asked one leader. "Do we maintain it? Expand it?" "Both," Alan said firmly. "But we also share its benefits. The same technology that channeled Earth's power as a weapon can provide clean energy, prevent natural disasters, and help us restore environments damaged by our past mistakes." Olivia nodded. "The aliens mocked Earth's strength because they only saw our surface. Now everyone knows that true power often lies beneath, not just in the technology we built under the ground, but in the human spirit that created it." Outside the command center, a geyser erupted right on schedule. The Earth continued its ancient rhythms, now in deeper harmony with the humans who had learned to listen to its heartbeat and harness its strength. The planet that had seemed so fragile from space had revealed itself to be the greatest weapon and the greatest teacher humanity could have asked for. General Vrazix, watching the geyser from a window, finally understood. Steve, Lily, and Kelly crouched behind a fallen section of wall near Node 12's upper chamber. 6 Keldorian soldiers fired energy weapons at the remaining human defenders, who were pinned down behind makeshift barriers. "The control panel is on the far side," Kelly whispered, pointing to a glowing console. "If they reach it, they can disrupt the node's energy flow." Steve studied the aliens' movements. "They're not watching the ceiling," he said. "Their eyes don't look up naturally." Kelly nodded. "Good observation. What are you thinking?" "The maintenance tunnels," Steve said. "Lily and I can go through them and come down behind the aliens." Kelly looked doubtful. "It's dangerous." "Dad and I can do it," Lily said with confidence. "I'm small enough to fit easily, and I know where their armor is weakest." After a moment, Kelly agreed. "The access panel is behind those pipes. We'll create a distraction when you're in position." Steve and Lily moved quickly to the panel and slipped inside. The maintenance tunnel was narrow but navigable. They crawled through it silently, following the pulsing blue light of power conduits. Meanwhile, General Vrazix faced a crisis. His ship's systems continued to fail as Earth's gravity fluctuated wildly. Half his fleet was trapped in decaying orbits, and the rest were struggling to maintain position. "The humans' ultimatum expires in 20 minutes, Lieutenant Krell reminded him. Vrazix paced the command deck. Never in his long career had he faced defeat. The shame would follow his family for generations. "Prepare our remaining orbital weapons," he ordered suddenly. "Target their largest population centers. If we cannot have this world, no one will." Krell hesitated. "General, such an action violates Empire protocols for conquered worlds." "This world is not conquered," Vrazix roared. "It is in rebellion, and we will make an example of it." In the Yellowstone Command Center, Olivia Murray detected the power surge in the alien weapons systems. "They're preparing a planetary bombardment," she told Alan over their video link. "Exactly as we predicted." Alan's expression remained calm. "Initiate Phase 4. Olivia pressed her palm against a scanner, then spoke clearly. "Authorization Murray Alpha 75. Execute Phase 4. The Earth seemed to take a deep breath. Then, like a living thing awakening, the planet responded. From the ground rose enormous structures that had been hidden for decades. In deserts, mountains, and even ocean floors, the Earth split open to reveal massive energy projectors aimed at the sky. In cities across the world, buildings that had seemed ordinary for generations transformed. Outer walls falling away to expose advanced technology that had been hiding in plain sight. The projectors activated simultaneously, sending columns of blue energy shooting into space. Each beam found an alien ship with perfect precision. On the Keldorian command ship, alarms blared as the beams approached. "Evasive action," Vrazix shouted, but it was too late. The energy beams didn't destroy the ships. Instead, they enveloped them in fields that neutralized all weapons and propulsion systems. The mighty Keldorian fleet hung helpless in orbit, immobilized by Earth's hidden technology. At Node 12, Steve and Lily reached the end of the maintenance tunnel and peered through a grate directly above the aliens. Steve held the electromagnetic pulse weapon ready. "Now," he whispered to Lily. She pressed a small communicator Kelly had given her. On the other side of the chamber, the defenders launched a coordinated attack, drawing the aliens' attention. Steve kicked out the grate and dropped down behind the Keldorian soldiers. Using Lily's knowledge of their armor, he targeted the weak points at the joints of their protective suits. The pulse weapon fired with a soft hum, sending the aliens crumpling to the floor, their neural systems temporarily overloaded. Lily scrambled down after him, running to the control panel. Following Kelly's instructions, she stabilized the node's energy flow just as it began to fluctuate dangerously. "We did it," she called to her father. The chamber shook as Phase 4 activated, Through a viewport, they could see the massive energy beam rising from their location, joining dozens of others reaching toward space. Kelly joined them, smiling. "You two just helped save the eastern seaboard," she said. "Maybe the whole planet." In his ship, General Vrazix watched his tactical display in disbelief as his entire fleet was neutralized in less than a minute. For the first time in the history of the Keldorian Empire, a general faced not just defeat, but complete humiliation. "What manner of species are they?" he whispered. The view from orbit showed a planet in revolt. Massive fissures appeared across Earth's surface like wounds in its skin. Geysers of steam and molten rock shot into the sky. The oceans churned with unnatural waves. To the watching Keldorians, it seemed as if the planet itself had declared war. On his command ship, General Vrazix fought to maintain control as systems failed around him. The ship's gravity stabilizers struggled against Earth's suddenly erratic gravitational field. "We've lost 60% of our ground forces," Lieutenant Krell reported, his voice shaking. "The remaining units are cut off from their ships." "Impossible," Vrazix said, though the evidence was clear on his screens. "No species has ever weaponized an entire planet before." A communications officer turned from his station. "General, we're receiving a transmission." "From the humans." Vrazix hesitated, then nodded. "Display it." The main screen showed a human male in a military uniform. Major Alan Carter looked directly at the alien general. "General Vrazix," Alan said calmly, "you thought we were primitive because you only saw what we built above ground. You should have looked deeper." The screen split to show images of enormous underground complexes and machinery extending miles into Earth's crust. "For generations, we've been building inward, not just outward," Alan continued. "Project Mantle gives us control over our planet's core energy. The ground beneath your forces is no longer neutral territory." Vrazix's inner eyelids flickered rapidly, a sign of extreme stress in his species. "This is a deception," he said. "No civilization would invest centuries in hidden defenses." "We knew we weren't alone in the universe," Alan replied. "We prepared accordingly. You have 1 hour to recall your remaining forces and leave our solar system. After that, we move to Phase 4. The transmission ended, leaving Vrazix staring at the chaos on Earth's surface. In Outpost 7, Steve, Lily, and the other escaped prisoners watched Alan's message to the aliens on the main screen. When it ended, the room broke into cheers. Kelly silenced them with a raised hand. "It's not over. The Keldorians still have orbital weapons that could devastate our surface. We need to get to Mantle Node 12. It's under attack." She pointed to a flashing red light on the map. "It's one of the main control points for this sector. If we lose it, we lose control of the regional response." Steve stepped forward. "I've been working on their vehicles. I know how their systems operate now." Kelly nodded. "Good. We need people who can disable their tech." "I can help too," Lily said. Everyone looked at the young girl with surprise. "I watched them every day in the camp. I know how their armor connects and where it's weakest." Kelly smiled. "Then you both come with me. We need that knowledge." They left quickly, taking an electric transport deeper into the tunnel system. After several miles, they reached a massive circular chamber with a glowing column of light at its center. The column extended from floor to ceiling, pulsing with blue-green energy. "This is Node 12, Kelly explained, one of 50 major connection points in the Mantle network. The aliens have breached the upper access point and are trying to destroy it." The sound of energy weapons echoed from above. Kelly handed out strange-looking weapons to everyone. "These emit focused electromagnetic pulses," she said. "They'll disrupt Keldorian neural systems without permanently harming them." Steve took one, feeling its weight. "You don't want to kill them." "Only if necessary," Kelly replied. "We're defending our home, not becoming monsters." In Yellowstone Command Center, Olivia Murray tracked the battle at Node 12 with concern. "If we lose that node, We lose control of the entire eastern seaboard response, she told Alan via video link. Alan's face looked grim. What's its status? We have defenders there, but the aliens have committed significant forces. They figured out how important the nodes are. On her screen, she could see Kelly's team arriving at the node. Wait, we have reinforcements, including civilians. Alan leaned closer to his camera. We're past the point of military versus civilian. Everyone on Earth is fighting for survival now. Olivia nodded slowly. Then let's make sure they have a chance. Initiating Phase 4 preliminary sequence. As she spoke, the entire command center darkened for a moment, then lit up with a new, more intense energy. On screens worldwide, the Earth's core began to pulse with unprecedented power. The real demonstration of Earth's strength was about to begin. Kelly led Steve, Lily, and 20 other escaped prisoners through the dark woods. The sounds of confusion from the labor camp faded behind them. Alien aircraft with searchlights flew overhead, but seemed unable to spot them. They can't see us, Kelly explained. We're using a network of underground sensors to create a false heat signature half a mile east of here. They're chasing ghosts. After an hour of walking, they reached a small clearing where the ground looked slightly different, more compact, almost metallic. Stand together in the center, Kelly instructed. When everyone was in position, she pressed something on her wrist. The ground beneath them hummed, then began to sink. They were standing on a hidden elevator platform that descended into darkness. Lights came on as they dropped below the surface, revealing a massive tunnel system. The platform continued down for nearly a minute before stopping in a large underground chamber. People in civilian clothes worked at computer stations, and others carried supplies. Welcome to Outpost 7, Kelly said, one of 50 similar installations across the country. Steve looked around in amazement. How long has this been here? This one. About 30 years, but the first ones were built in the 1960s. Kelly led them to a rest area with food and water. The entire system was built in absolute secrecy. Only a few thousand people knew about it until recently. In his command ship, General Vrazix watched with growing concern as reports flooded in. Labor camp breaches were happening worldwide. Small earthquakes continued to disrupt operations. Most troubling of all, communications with several major mining operations had gone completely silent. Explain this, he demanded of his science officer. The seismic activity appears to be artificial, the officer admitted. Our analysis suggests the humans have some form of tectonic control technology. Impossible, Vrazix hissed. Their technology is primitive. They couldn't hide such capabilities from our scouts. Nevertheless, the evidence suggests. Vrazix cut him off with an angry gesture. Launch a full orbital scan. I want to know exactly what's happening on this planet. But even as he gave the order, the ship shuddered slightly. The feeling was unmistakable. Something was affecting the planet's gravitational field. In the Yellowstone Command Center, Olivia Murray watched as the mantle system reached full power. Energy readings climbed steadily across all stations. Phase 2 complete, she announced, beginning Phase 3 targeting sequence. On the massive central display, thousands of red lines connected beneath the Earth's surface, forming a web that spanned the entire planet. At key intersections, energy signatures glowed brighter. First targets locked, called out a technician. Geothermal vents primed and ready. Olivia looked at the countdown timer. 30 seconds remaining. Send final confirmation to all outposts, she ordered. This is not a drill. In Outpost 7, Kelly gathered everyone around a screen showing the same energy web that Olivia was monitoring. What you're seeing is Project Mantle, she explained, a network of geothermal taps, gravity lenses, and tectonic control systems that harness the Earth's core energy. Steve watched in amazement. Why didn't we use this against the aliens immediately? It takes time to power up fully, Kelly said. And we needed the aliens to commit their forces to the ground. Now they're exactly where we want them. The screen showed a countdown reaching 0. A small tremor ran through the outpost. "It's beginning," Kelly said quietly. On the surface, the ground near major alien installations began to shake more violently. Fissures opened in the earth, releasing steam and heat. The aliens rushed to move their equipment, but the tremors followed them with unnatural precision. In one mining operation in Australia, the ground split open entirely, creating a chasm half a mile wide. The alien base tumbled into it, disappearing from sight. Similar events occurred across the planet. Sinkholes formed beneath alien landing ships. Mud geysers erupted through Keldorian command posts. Electrical discharges from the ground disabled alien technology. General Vrazek stared at his tactical display in disbelief as one green marker after another turned red, indicating lost installations. "What is happening?" he demanded. "How can they control the planet itself?" Lieutenant Krell had no answer. For the first time in his career, he saw something in his general's eyes that looked like fear. In Outpost 7, Steve held Lily close as they watched the display. The small dots representing alien bases were disappearing one by one. "Is this it?" Steve asked. "Is this how we win?" Kelly shook her head. "This is just the beginning. Now we show them what Earth can really do." General Vrazek stood before a large holographic display of Earth. Small green dots covered much of the map, marking successful Keldorian installations. He turned to his gathered officers with what passed for a smile on his three-part mouth. "Complete subjugation will be achieved in less than 5 Earth days," he announced. "This is the fastest planetary conquest in our history. You will all receive commendations." The officers made respectful gestures with their upper arms. They had feared this mission might be boring, but the ease of victory made it pleasant. "Begin Phase 2 of the resource extraction," Vrazek continued. "I want mining operations established at these coordinates." He pointed to areas rich in rare minerals. Lieutenant Krell approached after the others left. "General, the probe teams investigating the underground energy readings have gone silent." Vrazek's inner eyelids flickered with annoyance. "Equipment failure?" "Possibly. But all 4 teams stopped transmitting at exactly the same time." For the first time, a hint of concern crossed the general's face. "Send more probes, and increase our orbital scans of these areas." In the underground command center, Alan Carter received the news with grim satisfaction. "They're getting curious. That means it's time." He activated a secure communication channel to all resistance cells. "Begin Operation Tremor." I repeat, begin Operation Tremor. Across the world, hidden human agents received the message. They looked nothing like soldiers. They were farmers, teachers, office workers, people the aliens had dismissed as harmless. Now they moved quietly to predetermined locations. In the Ohio labor camp, Steve was repairing another alien vehicle when a woman he didn't know approached him. She pretended to stumble, and as Steve helped her up, she whispered, "Tremor is active. East Fence. Midnight." Steve gave no sign he'd heard, but his heart beat faster. He continued working, now with a purpose beyond simple sabotage. That evening, he managed to get close to the children's section and caught Lily's attention. Using hand signals hidden from the guards, he told her, "Tonight, be ready." Beneath Yellowstone, Olivia Murray sent confirmation that her power routing issue was resolved. "Mantle is ready for full activation," she reported. All nodes show green status. Her team had worked without sleep for 36 hours. The secondary systems had been reinforced, tested, and now showed stable readings. They could handle the massive power that would soon flow through them. On the main display, a countdown timer showed 6 hours until activation. One of Olivia's engineers approached with a tablet. "The aliens are sending more probe teams to investigate our energy signatures." "Let them come," Olivia said. "They won't have time to report what they find." General Vrazek was preparing his formal victory address when the first reports came in. Minor earthquakes were occurring near several Keldorian bases. Nothing severe, just enough to register on instruments. Natural phenomena, he told Lieutenant Krell dismissively. This planet has an active core. The pattern seems unusual, Krell insisted. The tremors are happening only near our installations. Coincidence, Vrazix said. Focus on the resource extraction. I want the first shipments ready to launch tomorrow. But as he turned back to his speech, a tiny doubt nagged at him. The humans had surrendered too easily. Their leaders had disappeared rather than been captured. Something wasn't right. At 11:30 that night, Steve lay on his cot in the barracks, fully dressed and only pretending to sleep. Around him, he could feel others doing the same, people who had received the same message he had. The ground beneath the camp gave a small, almost imperceptible shudder. Then another, slightly stronger. The alien guards looked at each other in confusion. At precisely midnight, the eastern section of the fence surrounding the labor camp suddenly sank into the ground, as if the earth had simply swallowed it. Alarm systems began blaring, but they quickly went silent as power to the camp failed. In the darkness, Steve moved quickly to the children's section. Other adults were doing the same. When he found Lily, he grabbed her hand. "Now we run," he whispered. Outside the camp, they found a woman waiting with a group of other escaped prisoners. She wore civilian clothes but carried herself like a soldier. "I'm Kelly Whitman," she said. "Follow me if you want to live through what comes next." "What is coming next?" someone asked. Kelly looked at the night sky where alien ships hung like new stars. Earth is about to show its real strength. The labor camp outside Cleveland was set up quickly. Steve Dawson stood in line with 50 other humans, waiting to be assigned work duties. 3 days had passed since he and Lily were captured trying to reach the old mining tunnels. A tall Kildorian soldier walked down the line, scanning each human with a handheld device. When he reached Steve, the device beeped. "You have mechanical skills," the alien said. His English sounded odd, like it was being formed by the wrong kind of mouth. "You will repair equipment." Steve kept his eyes down. "Yes, sir." The alien moved to the next person. Steve had lied on his intake form, claiming to be a mechanic instead of a factory line worker. He thought being around the aliens' machines might be useful. Across the camp, children were kept in a separate area. Steve could see Lily sitting with other kids. At least they were being fed and not harmed. For now. A Kildorian officer walked among the children, speaking in what seemed like a friendly tone. "Your species will adapt," he told them. "The young always adapt fastest. You will live to see your world become a productive part of our empire." Lily watched the alien carefully. She noticed how he moved, how his armor connected at the joints. She remembered everything, just like her dad had told her to do. In Washington's underground facility, Alan Carter and the president watched a global map. Red dots marked alien landing zones and labor camps. "They've established footholds on every continent," Alan said, "just as we expected." The president looked tired. "And our people?" "Suffering, but surviving. Our embedded agents report minimal casualties. The Kildorians need workers, not corpses." A communication officer approached. "Sir, we have a message from Dr. Murray. Phase 1 is complete. All mantle nodes are fully powered and awaiting activation commands." Alan nodded. "Tell her to prepare Phase 2. We'll begin in 12 hours. On his command ship, General Vrazix received positive reports from all landing zones. Earth's surrender was proceeding efficiently. "We'll begin resource extraction tomorrow," he told his officers. "The humans have extensive mining operations we can expand. Their atmosphere is suitable for our biology. This will make an excellent forward base for further conquests." Lieutenant Krell approached with a datapad. "General, our sensors continue to detect unusual energy patterns beneath the surface. They've increased by 15% since yesterday." Vrazix frowned. "Scan for volcanic activity. This planet has several active zones." "We did, sir. The patterns don't match natural phenomena. They appear to form a network." Vrazix considered this. Perhaps they have more underground infrastructure than we realized. Send probe teams to investigate at these locations. He pointed to several spots on a map. Nothing built by humans could threaten us, but I dislike surprises. Beneath Yellowstone, Olivia Murray worked frantically to solve a problem. One of the main power conduits was showing signs of instability. If this fails during Phase 2, we lose the entire western seaboard network, she told her team. We need to reroute through the secondary systems. A technician looked worried. The secondary systems weren't designed to handle this much power. They'll have to, Olivia said. We've run out of time for perfect solutions. She checked her watch. 11 hours until Phase 2 began. The fate of humanity might depend on whether her patchwork fix would hold. In the Ohio labor camp, Steve was assigned to fix a damaged alien transport vehicle. The Keldorians gave him tools that looked almost, but not quite, like the tools he knew. He worked slowly, watching how the aliens interacted with each other. He noticed they rarely looked down. Their eyes were positioned to see forward and up, not toward the ground. It was a small detail, but might be useful. When the guards weren't looking, Steve loosened a crucial bolt instead of tightening it. The vehicle would work for a while, then fail at a critical moment. That night, as the humans were led to their sleeping barracks, Steve passed by the children's area. Lily caught his eye and made a small hand signal they had practiced at home. It meant she was okay. Steve returned the signal with one that meant be ready. For what, he wasn't sure yet, but something was coming. He could feel it in the ground beneath his feet, a subtle vibration that hadn't been there the day before. The world watched in horror as Earth's military forces launched their first counterattack. Fighter jets screamed across the sky toward the alien ships. Missiles arced upward from submarines and land bases. Orbital weapons platforms, kept secret until now, powered up and took aim. General Vrezix watched it all with amusement. He tapped a claw against his command console. Activate defense systems, he said calmly. But record everything. This will make a nice educational video for our War Academy. The sky lit up as invisible energy fields surrounded the Keldorian ships. Earth's missiles exploded harmlessly against them. Fighter jets burst into flames or simply fell apart in midair. The orbital platforms went dark before firing a single shot. In the United Nations emergency session, screens showed the failed attack. Diplomats and world leaders sat in stunned silence. The largest screen flickered, then showed General Vrezix's face. Your attempt at resistance was pathetic, he said. 17 worlds more advanced than yours have fallen to the Keldorian Empire. Your species' delusion of significance is almost charming. The alien paused, then added, as punishment for this display, your surrender deadline is now reduced to 24 hours. In the Pentagon War Room, military leaders argued loudly. Some wanted to launch nuclear weapons. Others insisted on trying to negotiate. Alan Carter stood quietly in a corner, typing a message on a special device that connected to no known network. The message was simple: begin Phase 1. Beneath Yellowstone, Olivia Murray received the message. She took a deep breath and turned to her team. It's time, she said. Activate all primary nodes. Her fingers moved across the control panel. On the main screen, dozens of red dots lit up across a map of the world. Each dot represented a mantle access point, places where humans had drilled deep into the Earth's crust and installed special equipment. Power levels rising, reported a technician. Geothermal taps are drawing energy at optimal rates. Olivia nodded. Keep everything at minimal detection levels. We can't tip our hand too early. In Ohio, Steve Dawson watched as alien scout ships descended from the sky. They landed in fields outside his town. Strange vehicles emerged, carrying Keldorian soldiers who stood nearly 8 feet tall. Local police tried to approach them with raised hands. The aliens shot them without hesitation. Lily, get your emergency bag, Steve whispered to his daughter. We need to leave now. They slipped out the back door as neighbors gathered in the street, watching the aliens with fear and fascination. Steve and Lily moved through backyards and wooded areas, avoiding main roads. Steve had been a hunter before working at the factory, and he knew how to move quietly. "Where are we going, Dad?" Lily asked. "There's an old mining tunnel near the river," he said. "We can hide there until we figure out what to do next." As they reached the edge of town, they saw alien soldiers herding people into groups. The large, boxy machine scanned each human. "Labor assignments," announced a mechanical voice. "Cooperate for survival." On his flagship, General Vrezix received reports of successful landings across Earth. His tactical display showed green markers spreading across all continents. "Begin resource assessment," he ordered. "I want mining operations established within 48 hours. Lieutenant Krell approached cautiously. "General, our sensors are detecting unusual energy readings from beneath the planet's surface." Vrezix waved a dismissive hand. "Probably just geothermal activity." "This planet is geologically active." "The patterns seem artificial," Krell insisted. "Impossible," Vrezix said. "Our intelligence indicates humans have barely scratched their planet's surface. They have no significant underground infrastructure." In Washington, Alan Carter boarded a special elevator hidden inside an ordinary-looking office building. The elevator descended for nearly 5 minutes before stopping. When the doors opened, he faced a massive underground facility. Thousands of people worked at stations monitoring Earth's systems. Giant screens showed the positions of alien ships and landing parties. A gray-haired man in a simple suit approached. "Major Carter, the president is waiting." Ellen followed him to a conference room where the real government now operated, safe from alien detection. "Is Mantle online?" the president asked. Ellen nodded. "Phase 1 is active. Dr. Murray reports all systems functioning perfectly." "And the surface theater?" "Proceeding as planned," Alan replied. "The aliens believe they're witnessing our only defense capabilities." The president looked grim. "How many will we lose before we can strike back?" Alan met his gaze directly. "Too many. But if we reveal our hand too soon, we could lose everything." The massive ship of General Vrezix entered Earth's orbit on a Tuesday morning. It was larger than anything humans had ever built, its dark metal surface reflecting the sun in strange ways. Smaller ships flanked it, forming a pattern that military experts across the world recognized immediately as an attack formation. In his command center, General Vrezix stood tall, his scaled skin shimmering under the lights. 6 eyes blinked independently as he watched the blue planet on his view screen. 2 of his 4 arms typed commands while the others remained crossed against his armored chest. "Primitive," he said to his second-in-command. "Just as our scouts reported. They still use combustion engines and have only reached their own moon." "Should we expect resistance, General?" asked Lieutenant Krell. Vrezix made a sound that resembled laughter. "Nothing worth mentioning. Begin the broadcast." In Washington, D.C., the emergency alarms blared through the Pentagon. Military personnel ran between rooms, carrying reports and shouting orders. Screens on every wall showed the alien ships, now visible to the naked eye as dark spots against the blue sky. Major Alan Carter pushed his way through the crowded hallway. At 42, he had seen combat in 3 conflicts, but nothing had prepared him for this. His brown hair was cut short, and deep lines marked his face. People moved aside when they saw the determination in his eyes. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," said a young officer, handing Alan a tablet. The alien on the screen had a face that reminded Alan of a lizard, but with too many eyes and a mouth that split in 3 directions. "People of Earth," said General Vrezix, his voice translated into English by some unknown technology. "Your planet is now under the authority of the Keldorian Empire. You have 72 Earth hours to surrender all military capabilities and pledge loyalty. Resistance will result in demonstration strikes against major population centers." Alan's phone rang. The caller ID showed a number he hadn't seen in years. "Carter," he answered. "Yellowstone." "Now." The helicopter is waiting. The line went dead. 3,000 miles away, in a small house in Ohio, Steve Dawson adjusted the telescope in his backyard. His hands shook slightly. At 36, the factory worker had never expected to witness the end of the world. "Dad, is it really aliens?" asked his 11-year-old daughter Lily. Her red hair was tied back in a ponytail, and freckles dotted her worried face. "Looks that way, kiddo," Steve said, trying to keep his voice steady. "But humans are tough. We'll figure something out." The telescope revealed one of the smaller alien ships, its surface covered in strange symbols, and what looked like weapon ports. "What are we going to do?" Lily asked. Steve put his arm around her shoulders. "We'll listen to the emergency broadcasts and do whatever they tell us to do." But something inside him knew that following orders might not be enough this time. Deep beneath Yellowstone National Park, Dr. Olivia Murray stared at screens showing the Earth's inner layers. At 38, she had spent 15 years on Project Mantle, but she had never expected to use it against an alien invasion. "Energy readouts are stable," said her assistant. "All stations report green status." "Good," Olivia said. Her dark skin glistened with sweat despite the cool underground air. "We need to be ready when the military gives us the signal." A door slid open, and a uniformed man entered the control room. "Dr. Murray," said Alan Carter. "It's been a while." Olivia nodded. 5 years, Major. I wish the reunion came under better circumstances." "The President has authorized full deployment of Mantle," Alan said. "How soon can you be ready?" Olivia turned to the largest screen, which showed a network of red lines spreading through the Earth's crust like veins. "We've been ready for this for 30 years, Major. The question is humanity ready for what comes next?" Above them, General Vrazix watched Earth's cities with growing satisfaction. Soon, this would be just another conquered world in the glorious Keldorian Empire. Humans would serve as laborers, their resources feeding the Empire's expansion. "Such a fragile species," he said to himself. "They don't even understand the power beneath their feet." He had no idea how wrong he was.